everyone. We are here to have a conversation about counseling skills and intervention. Counseling skills and intervention on this form of the exam is the largest section on the exam. It's 30 questions. 30%, 48 questions. 30%, 48 questions. And so it's going to be very, very important for you to have a good concept of the counseling skills and intervention. Now, this section is going to be very, very heavy on information that you would have learned within your counseling program within those 8 K-CREP domains. And so we separated the items. We separated the items that were on that form that is in your
the NBCC's handout about the 2019 the data, the information that they're testing on.
So we separated all of those, and that is what is in your PowerPoint, which is what I was looking for. That is what is in your PowerPoint in your unit when you go back and look under the counseling skills and intervention. And so what we did was we took those and we kind of separated those into 4 of the 8 K-CREP areas. We separated into professional counseling orientation and ethical practice, which we already have done an entire week study on professional ethics and practice. Then we had a slide on social and cultural diversity, and we've talked about that, so you all have had a few slides on social and cultural diversity. And then counseling and helping relationships. We've talked a little bit about counseling and helping relationships prior to now. However, we do want to spend some time with counseling and helping relationships, and additionally, we like to spend some time with group counseling and group work. Those 2 domains is a bulk of what we'll be talking about today. So, counseling and helping relationships, just a few things that you will need to know as you get started here is being able to align intervention and client's developmental level, align the intervention with counseling modalities. So being able to pull in like the different theory-based counseling interventions and those kinds of things, right? So some of the things that will be important to understand for the helping relationships portion is being able to have conversation with your client, building rapport with your client. And again, some of these things we have touched on already, and we've talked about a little bit already. So making sure that you understand things like the initial phases of relationship building. So those things that you, in the initial stages of your counseling relationship. So which we talked about, I believe was last week, where we talked about intake, diagnosis, biopsychosocial, and all of those types of things. We want to make sure that you understand those stages of positive interaction. So making sure that you go back and study that really well, the stages of positive interaction. One of the things that Mometrics pulled out, and I told you that one of the things I like is the way that they organized their handbook. They talked about the effective use of silence. So definitely want to understand the effective use of silence when you get ready to answer those questions. That is going to be another piece that is important. And so from here, did you have something here?
No, nothing specific here.
Okay. So from here, we just want to move into group work, which is going to be really important. A lot of the questions that you see on the NCE will feel group work heavy, which means that they will refer in some way to group, even if there's only a certain number of questions that fit into the group work framework. So it's going to be very important that you understand like the primary goals of group work, that you understand the roles of group members, the roles of the group facilitator, how to deal with groups in general, because when you have that information, you'll be able to answer those questions as it relates to group work, whether it talks about maybe a certain group of people or a certain type of people. So that may be a question that fits under social cultural, but it is referring to information that you'll find in group work. Also, making sure that you understand what skills that you need as a counselor for group work, definitely want to make sure that you look at what that you look at what the group work information is there, as well as group work as it relates to having a co-counselor. What is some of the information that you need to know about having a co-counselor? Have a conversation about the stages of group. You want to have a conversation about what stages are part of the group process. As we know, groups develop through stages, and the participants get acquainted and they learn together. One of the things that you want to be aware of is the storming, forming, norming, and that modality that you'll find in your group work information. And I think that is the basics of what I wanted to have the conversation on as far as group and helping relationships. Did you have anything here?
No, I'm just going to talk in general.
So the next video that you'll see, Dr. James is going to have a conversation with you about some of the general things that you'll find within the within your website. Within your website. Okay? All right.